What's up, everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Hades, and we are using the new spear with the aspect of Hades, and so that means that when we do these big spins like this, we're gonna give ourselves, or give our opponents, a little bit of a curse. I guess I technically don't know if it's officially a curse or not, but it makes it so that enemies take more damage. And then I threw on the blood-filled vial for some Ares appearances, the hope there being that I'm thinking Doom might be a nice combination with that, because we're hitting pretty slow but hard. But I'm not entirely sure what the best combinations are going to be with this specific aspect, so we'll see if we can find something with things like this hammer here that could be useful. Your attack strikes 3 times in a spread pattern. We've not yet taken this. It does have a scroll, so that could be useful. Special deals plus 400% damage to armor, or your spin attack charges up, and I mean, we have to do this, right? I mean, this is basically the key point of this aspect, is that you have a really strong spin, and if we can charge it up faster, then that must be the best course of action here. So we gotta go that route. So, like I said, I wasn't entirely sure what the best course of action was going to be in terms of what is the best synergy with this aspect on the spear. Not entirely sure, but I'm hoping that we're going to find things like that, where as we go through this run, we're going to find that, yeah, there are actually quite a few things that could work out with it. Here we go.
I'll run you through.
Zagreus, thank you very much. It has huge area of effect as well, so with us being able to charge this up more quickly, oh man, yeah, that is incredibly fast. Make sure we get that gold urn there, and then as for what we're off to next, some more obols. Sure thing. Yet to see our guaranteed areas just yet, but at some point, theoretically that should happen. And here's a Chaos Room, actually. Wow. Okay, we are basically just one-shotting people when we fully charge up our spin, which is pretty sweet. Ooh, I just stepped right in that. I was hoping that we could dash across, get a little bit clever with our spin moves, like that. But maybe a little bit carried away there. Do we have the range to do that? We apparently do. There we go. That's the last one. It is.
Coin for Charon.
So we took a little bit of damage, but we could, of course, go into the Chaos Room no less. Otherwise, we're talking either darkness or keys. I mean, neither of those things are terribly inspiring, right? So surely, the answer is to go into Chaos. Take 21 damage in the process. Yeah, we'll be fine. And there could be some nice synergies with Chaos as well. Anything, I think, that boosts attack damage. Or special, I think, also we do get additional special damage when we apply the, air quotes, curse with this aspect on the sphere.
When they sealed the Titans in the darkest reaches of this world, that was the last they saw of me as well. You were dissimilar from them, and I feel safe communicating thus with you.
Oh. Huh. Interesting. Okay, what do we have here? We can't gain gold, but after that our Dash Strike deals a ton of extra damage. Now, does Dash Strike still count if we're doing the Spin Dash Strike? Does that qualify where we're basically charging up the spin move and then dash right as we're finishing it? Because I was doing that a bit in that previous room just there, so plus 84% damage on that. If that does qualify, that would be fantastic. That's basically more or less exactly what we're looking for. But I feel like I feel like it should count, but I'm not 100% certain, so I'm a little bit hesitant to go that route. Otherwise, we can have our chamber rewards hidden, but after we get 70 max life, that is a ton. Otherwise, we have more foes, but afterward we deal extra damage when striking foes from behind. Honestly, any of these things sound great from a reward standpoint. This one is the highest damage, if in fact that does work, as I'm hoping that it might work, but I'm not 100% certain. This one's maybe the safest, because we know that we're going to get Ares somewhat soon, so that's at least one chamber hidden that doesn't much matter to us. The extra foes can be one of the most difficult of the downsides, but I think it does still mean that you get more coins. I'm pretty sure that's the case, because enemies do drop obols. So this one's maybe a little bit more difficult to use the striking foes from behind. I mean, we certainly can make a point of doing it, but let's give this a shot. If it does work, I think it'll be the best for us. And so, no obols for the next few rooms, I think was the downside of that one. We can either go max life or get our Ares. I think, let's go with life for now. I'm trying to think of, is there anything Demeter that could be useful with this spear? I feel like the answer is no, because with Demeter, or at least, I mean, I'm sure there's something, right? But I think Demeter, you're going to want to be able to attack quickly to apply multiple stacks of shield, and that's definitely not something we're going to be doing here. So they're kind of sort of opposites in a way, Ares and Demeter, and that Ares is okay with slow, big attacks, whereas Demeter is better with quick, little attacks, kind of like Dionysus. I think Dionysus and Demeter are two that come to mind as ones we probably won't want to target here. We're just not going to be fast enough. Whereas Ares, trying to think of others that would make sense for big, slow attacks, and not entirely sure what the answer to that will be, but we do have a well here. Let's just double check what we find. Could guarantee another Chaos Room, and that is kind of tempting, because we did see all those things in the previous Chaos encounter were nice, and I do like picking up the Chaos Gates as early as possible, of course, in Tartarus, because the enemies tend to be far easier, so not the end of the world if we find ourselves facing 55% more of them, or whatever it might be. And also, random item, also not bad. What do we get from it? Centaur Soul increases our max life, so that's also not bad. Not bad at all. I will take that, I think. There is our guaranteed Chaos Room. And that blow up on you. Yes, it did. We can time this such that the same thing happens to you. Yes, we can. What about third time's the charm? Yes. In fact, it is. Do you think there's still one of those guys remaining to throw scraps? Did you hit us? I think you did. You. Please go down. And let's not stand there. Okay. Can get a little bit of HP back from that room there, or from that darkness there. But notably, taking a bit of damage, and of course going into Chaos and going into Chaos again would hurt us even further. This would be our guaranteed Ares here, but that should continue to be the case. If we keep on passing on him, then eventually we will opt to go that route, and he will keep on showing up, I believe. This is a bit of a risk here, because we are lowering our HP to roughly half at this point. Let's see what Chaos has for us this time round. And the answer is, slain foes drop Inferno Bombs, but our Dash Strike deals even more damage. Well, if we want to go with the Dash Strike, then this would become amazing, stacking two of those on top of each other. Otherwise, oh boy, Dash has less range, which will, of course, make it difficult to use the Dash Strike, at least for these 4 encounters. But once we have it back, Dash Strike plus damaging enemies from behind would deal an exorbitant amount of damage, so that is very tempting. It's going to be difficult for at least the short term, because that combo doesn't work well with what we're trying to do here. But it'll be a while with our previous Chaos Moon, but it'll be a while until our first Chaos Moon evolves anyway. Otherwise, we're talking damage when we special, which we aren't doing too much of, but it would be nice to at least have it as an option. But afterwards, 94% special damage. All these are great. Again, it's mostly a matter of just what is our personal preference. I do kind of like the idea of loaded up on specifically Dash Strike. However, if I'm looking at the numbers, I mean, this is still like almost double the amount. So I think, sure, it's one thing to load up on an additional 85% Dash Strike damage, but that's too big to ignore, I think. So our dash is going to be tiny, at least for the next few rooms here, but I'm okay with taking Darkness next, because that does mean that we'll get some life back, especially if it is a Fountain Chamber room. At that point, we're at practically maximum HP, and we could either go to the shop. Now, remember, we are not getting coins at the moment, so we're sitting at exactly 150. We could get a boon from this, if there is a boon at this shop, but otherwise, we could go to a mini-boss Ares. I think we'd go that route. It could be a difficult one, depends on who we find. Yeah, it is the difficult one. It's you. Trying to charge a big one like that. Hoping for some big damage there. And basically just charging up a big spin and waiting for you to teleport on top of us. Which does mean that we will probably take hit in the process, of course. I just whiffed on every single cast. Did we take the Chaos Boon that damages us when we use our special? I don't think so. We opted to go differently there. Again, I'm picking the wrong time to cast. Seemed like we were doing a little bit better than, yeah, when we were just going for the spin moves. We have a lot of range on the spear as well. We took a lot of damage there, but I think that is, I would argue, the single most difficult enemy in Tartarus by a lot. It did, I think, get nerfed quite a bit relative to pre versus post full launch. But this is our guaranteed areas, and we did also just get his keepsake to fully rank up here. It's a good time for that.
The mortal's blood contained therein. I drew it myself. Too seldom am I able to become directly involved in such matters.
Yeah, we did just fully upgrade it, so I think this is more or less exactly what we're looking for as the highest possible rarity on an Ares attack boon, so that we can apply the Doom. And I don't know as to whether the additional damage that comes from the, again, air quotes, curse, from the Hades spin move, that also applies to the Doom damage, because the Doom is getting applied from an attack. I think the curse officially says, in fact, we might be able to, can we find it here? Yeah, so Aspect of Hades, your spin attack becomes Punishing Sweep, and Punishing Sweep makes it so that a huge spin attack that makes foes take more attack and special damage. So, the thing is, the Doom is coming from the attack. Does that mean that it is technically attack damage? I think the answer is no. But there's a chance that we will still get bonus Doom damage from this. Not entirely sure. We can go Super Nectar or Gems. I'm thinking Nectar here. Not sure we have too many of them at the moment. Well, I didn't double check, so I could be very wrong about that, for all I know. So this is ultimately what we're going to be wanting to do, is charge up these big spin moves and then dash into them like this for the extra damage. We didn't double up on that with Chaos, but we did get one of them, and if we can combine that with attacking from behind, then that is where the humongous damage is going to be. Of course, we have limited our dash distance for the moment, and so that makes us a little less effective in the short term. But this will level up our attack boon, part of the reason why I wanted to go this route. And it means that it went from 100 Doom damage to 130 Doom damage. And I suppose I was not paying terribly close attention as to whether you were getting additional Doom damage from applying that, again, air quotes, curse. We could get back 150 HP from this trove, which I think might be worth it, because we don't have a ton of HP at the moment. Go into the darkness room, assuming we don't take damage there. That could be a way to restore a little bit more HP. Let's just double check if there's anything else in here. I think it's probably just the trove. Yeah, so let's go take the trove. I think it's worthwhile. And let's make a point of looking at, do we deal extra damage with the Doom when we apply the effect from the spin move? So it would normally be 130. Is it more than 130 with the Doom? No, it's exactly 130. Okay, so it does not count as additional damage, as we expected, but look at that. Wow! The huge spin move means we can take people out almost immediately and certainly pack up to full HP, and we also
Excellent.
get an additional nectar. So that's not bad either. So, let's head into the darkness room, and now we no longer need the healing from it, but let's see if we can take you guys out. Ooh, and I was charged up a spin move, and, well, they, had some other thoughts on that. Alright, take you out with Doom. The AoE is just so big that we're hitting people from halfway across the arena, it seems. Now just you guys remaining. I'd like to get rid of you. We don't necessarily need to charge up a full attack to apply the Doom. And the Doom is high enough damage that, yeah, even just a little poke like that can work. Did take a little bit of damage, so there we have Darkness helping us a bit on that front as well. Ooh, Sisyphus. Not bad either. And let's just double check. Yeah, nothing else in here. Now, we are seemingly getting gold now, so we must have had one of our Chaos Boons evolve. It is the Dash Strike. Okay, so that is now dealing plus 84% damage, and does mean that we should be able to pick up gold now. It's going to say, might have meant that we weren't going to be able to take the gold option from Sisyphus, but that should be on the table here. And we might even go that route.
Hello, Your Highness.
Because we're on more or less full HP. Darkness, I mean, sure, it'd be nice to pick some up, yeah. And we do have Dark Thirst on this run, actually, as well. So that means we will get a bonus 20%. So that's not a bad thing. Just that we spent a little bit of time not being able to pick up gold, so getting some mobiles here seems like that might be worthwhile.
So
make up for that a bit.
The surface, hey, Prince said, now that you finally had a chance to see it for yourself. Not too bad, I hope.
That's pretty good.
It takes some getting used to, that's for sure. I'm not sure I'll ever grow completely accustomed to it. Do you miss it, sir?
That's true. He was up there once upon a time.
Oh, you know, I still have almost everything that matters, and the rest, it makes for precious memories I didn't have up there.
Oh. He says that even when he's chained and stuck with rolling up this heavy boulder for all of eternity. Always so positive, Sisyphus. Even despite the situation you find yourself in. So, I think we go with the obols.
Most excellent.
Because, yeah, that does make up for not having been able to pick them up for a while and going directly into a shop from here. Wish I could say I knew that was coming, but, of course, no way of knowing that in advance. We are headed to boss fight next, though. Ooh, notably, we still have our limited dash distance. That is unfortunate. We will have that for the boss fight. So we could do, well, Dionysus, like I was saying, I think not really a great run to have him because we're going to have slow attacks. We can use the little poke like this, but I think that's still not great. We're going to want to be focusing on the spin, especially the spin and dash strike. So we want big, slow attacks, and that's just not really what Dionysus does with his hangover. There are other things he does too, yes, but I think that if we have the choice of specifying which gods we want to have, then probably Dionysus is not really on our list, and let's go with the max life here. Notably, we only have one boon, at least from a god, that is carrying us at this point in time. We do have a couple things, or at least one thing that is evolved from Chaos, which I suppose is still a boon, yes. This one eventually will turn into one. And the hammer upgrade, yes, it just feels... This is a strange place in which we find ourselves going into this fight here. And Charon, oh, this perhaps have something to say to us? We did, of course, fight Charon recently, so maybe it has something to do with that.
Hey, Charon, you're not angry with me after we had it out last time, are you? I mean, I figured since you gave me one of your loyalty cards, must mean everything's fine, but I'm just making sure.
Yeah, we're cool now, right, Charon? That... see, that sounded a little bit too much like the words kill.
Well, that is a relief.
But apparently we're good here. Okay, as for which Fury we're gonna find, I'm thinking, pretty sure we had Meg most recently. We're gonna have Electo here.
I bet it's Meg again.
Is it though?
Guess
Oh,
not.
it is Electo.
Good job, Red Blood. You made it all this way. But I have got to send you back to Daddy now. Nothing personal.
We'll see about that.
Wish you could join me, Electo. Want me to put in a good word with Father next time so you can come visit us at the house yourself?
Ooh, that might be a bit of a touchy subject. You see, apparently she's not allowed there.
Oh, you know, I'd rather have my eyes put out, but thanks for offering. Now, time to head on home.
Alright, we'll see about that. None of that, please. Please don't get mad either. Should have blocked that one. So again, the dash strike does have bonus damage, so we can do this. Along with the Doom, of course. And that's not great. Please don't do that. Nah, I just walked straight into that one, but got this one charged and ready to go for this moment here. But we might not be fast enough to charge up an attack when you're in the middle of doing this. So I think, yeah, we probably just try to hit you and apply some dooms. And the damage is still quite good. So as long as we just get a few more of these on, I think that should do the trick. Yes, but the slowness does hurt defensively. That is quite notable, but there we have it. Still, quick Electo kill. The damage, it's good enough. Just if we could find something from Hermes to allow us to dash again, or just having
My Chaos Boon
the
switched.
Chaos Boon evolve. There we go. So now we can go back to our usual dash distance. That is a relief. Makes our dash attack stronger as well, because you're to actually have it happen. And then, other than that, yeah, and I should also be testing, now that we have the additional dash strike damage, does this count here when we're charging up preemptively and then dashing afterward? Does that still qualify, or do we need to do a more traditional, that type of dash attack? If so, then this is not as great, because of course we're looking to get those spins off whenever we can. There was also Goldern here, looks like we cracked that though, so on our way up we go.
Where do you think you're going?
Okay, and so we
Which to
did
choose?
get the guaranteed Ares appearance, and this is now fully leveled up, so I think we probably do swap over to a different keepsake. Question is, which one do we want? Is there a specific god or goddess that we like here? Or would we rather go an entirely different route and take something like a shawl for some extra damage, some extra life on the spiked collar? I mean, in terms of bosses, the Acorn and the Spear Point are definitely my favorite, but I think at this stage we shouldn't need those just yet. Damage to distant foes, I don't think we're going to have enough distant damage to put that to use. So yeah, if we're looking at from a god and goddess perspective, most directly. I think that, like we were saying, Demeter I'm not a huge fan of with this setup, nor am I with Dionysus. Maybe Artemis? So we do have some big hits, and so getting a crit on some of those big hits could be one of the best ways to scale our damage. Aphrodite, I feel like we're talking about defenses, perhaps wanting some more of those. That could be a decent way to do that. Same with Athena. So I'm kind of leaning toward one of these three. Offense versus, to a certain extent, defense. Though I think that, I mean, Aphrodite at least certainly has some pretty strong damage boons, or at least, you know, from the percentage standpoint, I think she was at one point the highest damage. May still be, though she has, I believe, gotten nerfed since full release. So why don't we give... let's go with Athena, actually. You're probably the most defensive in that way. And as for what we can pick up here, we could guarantee another Chaos encounter, and you know, we did just get, I think, all of our previous Chaos encounters, or Chaos boons, to evolve, so now is a good time. And no, we're not going to sell our only sellable boon. So let's head on out.
Next floor.
Could find Chaos right here. So we saw previously the other two that we picked up, they were quite helpful. So hopefully we'll find more of the same here.
Somewhere.
Just double check. It would have been a heart room, which is not a bad thing, but I think we're okay with passing that up for now. So let's descend. We're on full HP, so taking 24 damage is not the end of the world either. What do you have for us this time, though, Chaos? Ooh, that's a golden urn. Hiding over there. Almost missed it.
In the name of Hades.
Yeah, sneak that one past me, though. Okay, some high rarity ones. Take damage from special, but afterward we get a lot of extra darkness and gems. That is good early, and this is still pretty early in the run, so we do heal from darkness, yes. So in that sense, at that point, darkness becomes pretty reliable second source of healing. Not a bad thing, but ooh, okay. Otherwise, we can get some max life. Yes, that would be a way of perhaps making up for the fact that we didn't take the max life from the previous room, or the other room that we would have gone into had we not gone into Chaos. That would have given us 25, this giving us 63, so it is more than 2 of those typical max life upgrades. Otherwise, we could do even more damage when attacking from behind. We would have to encounter more foes in the short term. In Asphodel, that's, again, I'd say probably the last floor on which I'd be looking to do that, because once you get to Elysium, enemies, I feel, get much tougher. There are some difficult ones here in Asphodel, so for that reason, I think it is still probably best, though. It would be difficult, yes, but I think we go for it, because we are scaling a lot of damage with all those Chaos boons, and so I think that it will add up. It will definitely add up. If we make a point attacking people from behind, it should be a ton of damage. There's gonna be a lot of you guys that explode, is the thing. Yeah, so we gotta be mindful of that. If we're not careful, we're gonna take a lot of damage very quickly in that way. Ooh, and you drop explosives, and we take you out as well, so look out for that. Doom to get you. Okay, who's next? You. And you. That's fine if you blow up over there. If we attack you from behind, it should deal a ton of damage, because I do think we have one Chaos boon. It was doing that already, and the one that we just picked up will do even more of it. But yeah, these guys in particular I find are a little bit tricky when it comes to having this many of them, because they can cover a lot of ground with all of them blowing up and throwing those projectiles at us as well. We make a point of trying to hit you from behind, that would be helpful. Making more of a point of using the spin attacks, but this should do it. Okay. Darkness will heal a little bit of life. Of course, we didn't take the one that would give us more darkness, but it would have taken a little bit of time for it to evolve anyway. Not like it would have immediately taken effect. Okay, so nothing else over there. We're looking at either a shop. We're on 170 obols, is not a ton. Then again, the palm is not all that enticing either. I'm thinking the shop will not count as an encounter, meaning that we will have one more room in which we will have this taking effect. So, well, I mean, not that there are going to be any enemies in the shop anyway, but I think we want to get this to evolve as soon as possible.
And we're off.
So let's go this way. It does save us whatever obols we would have spent at the shop, and we can save those up for a future occasion instead. Blow that up on you. We'll get you? I think it did. And you guys, ooh, we can, yeah, get all of you with spin move. That is great. Try to hit you from behind there. There we go. That's more like it. Just don't blow up on us as we try to do that. Doom should get you. There we go. Charge up a spin. Yeah, we should try to determine, does this give us extra damage when we do this? Looks like it's still 130. Is that right? Let's wait for you to go down here, and let's just see, like, a full spin is 100 normally, or maybe, I think it's 100 and it's 130 if we have this effect on them, the curse, quote-unquote. And if we do a dash of this sort, it's still 100. Okay, so that is unfortunate. That means that we do need to actually do this kind of dash, it seems, to get the extra damage, I think, for it to qualify as a dash strike. So maybe for that reason, yeah, the dash strike's not quite as good as we might have hoped they would be. Oh, there's also one of these boom/faces. Still don't necessarily know what they are supposed to be. To me, it makes more logical sense that there's a giant hoof that would be stomping down on you. Other people have told me looks more like a face. That might be the case. I don't know. Okay, either way, room clear, and we only have one upgradable boon, and it will be our Doom damage one. So we're up to over 150 damage on that, which is not bad. Anything else in this room? We get another Ares boon for the guaranteed Athena. Now, even though we do have, or at least did have, the guaranteed Ares, and we started off with him, we don't have a lot of Ares boons feeding off of that. Of course, there is usually the chance to synergize a bit between boons of the same type, so in some ways, I feel like even though we did deliberately make a point of picking up the Athena keepsake, we might want to, at least for now, do a little bit more Ares. See if we can find something that synergizes well. Oh, I don't like these guys. Now, I'm hoping that what with you just being a couple of enemies here, with our big slow attacks, that might be a reasonable combo against you. Oh, did that oof/face hit us? I think it did. Of course, getting petrified is also not great, generally speaking. Doom, I think, will add up. Trying to get rid of you first. Doom should take care of you now. Just make sure we don't get petrified at the end. Now it's just you. This should be more straightforward. Come on. Drop down. Ooh, I stepped into the lava. There we go. Backstab. That seems like a more reliable source of damage, to be honest. And that is the one that we doubled up on with the most recent of Chaos Boons. Still need 2 more encounters before that will fully evolve.
Olympus, I accept this message.
As for the second Ares boon, we can have the special deal Doom damage. And after we take damage, inflict Doom, or after using Death Defiance, we deal more damage in that encounter. So this one is, of course, the highest rarity, and is good for really difficult encounters in which you expect to use multiple Death Defiances. Then your damage starts to really stack up. But that is, I think, particularly at this stage in the game when we're presumably going to be a long time away from being at the most difficult fights, not sure it makes a ton of sense here. So for that reason, I don't love what we got. I think we are focusing largely on our attacks. Maybe we could start to use a little bit more of the special if we were to have this boon here, but still, our Doom is going to be almost twice as effective with our attack, because that's 151 Doom damage with the attack versus 80 on the special. So it's just going to be an objectively worse version of this. And yes, it does have range, whereas our attack is slower. Well, maybe not slower, but has more limited range. So I'm kind of leaning toward this.
It's me or them.
Let's go that route. And then, ooh, Euricity. Very good. Let me just double check if there's anything else in here. Don't think so. So, this one, I'll have to take a close look into what our options are, because one of those options will typically be to, well, actually, 2 of the options will be either upgrade our existing boons in terms of level or rarity, and that's intriguing right about now.
Your Royal Majesty, you know a lot of shades. You wouldn't happen to know an Orpheus, would you? Spindly little thing, whiny voice. Heard he's officially serving in your court, making music.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant to make the music. That part is maybe a bit of a stretch, but sorta.
Of course I know Orpheus. We're mates. Wait, why do you ask?
Your mates, huh? Just as long as you don't count on him for anything. Hasn't even mentioned me, has he? Well, if he ever does, you tell him I am doing great. I'm great.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, come to think of it, in Greek mythology, you two have a bit of a history with each other, don't you? May or may not have involved Orpheus trying to rescue you in the underworld and making a deal with Hades to free you, but he has to walk all the way back through the underworld, and if he ever looks back to check if Eurydice is following behind him, then the deal is off, and then he proceeded to walk 99.9% of the way and then looked over his shoulder at the last second, and there it was. Deal broken. So, yeah, understood if you're a little bit upset about that. Okay, but here are our options. We can have 2 random boons of ours upgraded in rarity, and the thing is, we have... Well, can this work for Chaos Boons? I'm actually not sure. I was gonna say we have precisely 2 boons that can apply to. It would be our 2 Ares boons, the attack one and the when we take damage one that we just picked up. Or we could upgrade levels of... Well, this is of boons that we currently have, so it would be up to 4 of them, except for that one we definitely cannot have Chaos Boons increase level. So we'd only be getting this one and this one for sure. We'd only be getting roughly, half the usual value out of that. So I think in that way, Palm Porridge is probably not the best answer. We could, however, increase the rarity of our next boons. That's a little bit intriguing because we have so few of them right now that making sure that they're strong could be a difference maker. Because we have already pretty high rarity ones, but getting this to heroic rarity, that would mean that could be quite nice. Let's go with this. We'll see, there's a chance that... Okay.
Thank you.
It was, yes, I believe, both of the Ares boons that leveled up, or increased rarity, I should say. So it wasn't either of the Chaos boons. I'm not sure if it is possible for that to happen to the Chaos boons or not, but either way, I think we'll be fine with this. It does mean that we went from 151 doom damage to 176 doom damage. So, I mean, that's not a huge difference. But, I mean, that's still a ton of doom damage, and hopefully is enough to take out many enemies, at least in Asphodel, in one hit. When you combine the upfront damage with the doom, maybe not the champions here that have the armor as well. That should get you. There is a trove in here, notably. Like to backstab you if we can, but you're turning around on me. There we go. You are quick as well. Well, I don't like these skeleton dudes who seemingly have a never-ending combo of attacks. Like, they do an attack or two, and then you think, okay, you're done now, right? And then, nope, he just keeps on going. Can't stop, won't stop. Can't make it. Look at all those projectiles. Wow, okay, yep. Some of those did hit us. Of course, coming from you guys that keep burrowing underground, so nice to get rid of you. And, ooh, spawners as well. Definitely want to make a point of getting rid of you as well. Taking a lot of damage here, notably. You're down, yes. Spawner number 1 down. Get spawner number 2 here. Yes. Okay, took, like I said, though, a ton of damage there, so we're going to want to try to find some sorts of healing. Will the Trove help us in that regard? Potentially. Because, remember, darkness does heal us a bit, but we will need to fight enemies to get that darkness, so it might not be enough to pay off here. Let's just double check what our next options will be. It's either shop or palm. We still have one more room before our last Chaos Boon evolves, and this is one that's making us fight more foes, so that is partially what's making things difficult here. Not sure if that still applies for the Troves as well. It may. Let's give it a shot. I'm reluctant here a bit. I feel like there's a non-zero chance that we might even burn through Death Defiance, which would, of course, be a pretty big mistake. But hopefully we'll be okay here. Lots of these brimstones. And there, ooh, yep, we're taking a lot of damage here. Just barely. Didn't need to use Death Defiance there, but we do pick up some darkness.
Nice.
And we have Dark Thirst, so it's actually more than you see there. And on net, we have gained life from this. Yes, actually, a fair bit of that's okay. Still worthwhile, for sure. Not to mention we'll have darkness when we get back that we can spend at the mirror. Okay, so now the question of, do we use the shop with 257 obols, which is a somewhat significant amount, or do we go for the palm? The palm is not great, but it would mean that that would finally get this Chaos Boon to evolve, which, like I was saying before, I would like to happen as soon as possible. I think at this point, Haven't been counting rooms just yet. I don't recall as to just how many there are in Asphodel, but we're getting close to being at the point where we're going to be running into the final boss of Asphodel at least, and therefore we'd very much like to have that boon evolved at that point. And I'm okay, generally speaking, with saving up our... Oh, no. Our Obels. This is the last room before that boss, so that means the boon will not evolve. So, I mean, it is a free palm in that sense.
Power of Olympus.
And we can upgrade our attack boon, which will increase the doom damage by a little bit, but we're definitely seeing the diminishing returns here. Remember, the more you upgrade a skill, the less it improves each time that happens. So this only goes up by, I mean, less than 20, and then, well, this here goes up by 80. So this is a lot more consistent because we can apply the Curse of Agony when we attack, which is, well, something we're going to be doing a lot, whereas, at least ideally, we're not getting hit all that often, but this suddenly makes it so that the doom damage here actually exceeds the doom damage we're dealing with the attacks. So this one's going to be more consistent damage, but a little bit lower. This one's going to be less consistent damage, but higher. I think we probably still do go this route, to be honest with you.
Pomp power.
Let's double check if any of these are gold urns, because I find that, generally speaking, it's a little bit tough to find the gold urns in here. But yeah, we would have loved to have had one more room with enemies in it so that we could have this Chaos Boon evolved, so that we could take advantage of the extra damage from behind in this boss fight here. Definitely important that we picked up the Trove there to get a little bit more HP going in here.
We're just not getting through to one another here.
Alright, Mr. Hydra. Throw these. Okay, you seem to be the laser beam shooting Hydra, notably. Yeah, and so those dooms, notably, are dealing far more damage than our base attack is. Bear that in mind. That does mean that... Whoa, there's laser beams. Does mean that we're probably going to want to do a little bit of the poking strategy and just, well, hit someone a couple times, make sure the doom takes effect, and then kind of leave it at that. You create these... Whoa, I did get hit by that projectile. Those greenish heads create those little, I don't know what to call them, pods that make it such that enemies spawn. Did that hit you, or did you still have your shield up? Not entirely sure. Now we ideally want to backstab you. Well, doesn't matter. Phase over. Who is next? Oh, well, let's not chill out in the lava. That's probably not a great idea. One head down. No bloodstones, no gleam. Let's nab these. Por favor. Backstab damage. Should be enough here. Avoid that. And yeah, you are the one that's creating... Actually, two of you guys creating the extra enemies. So let's try to get rid of you before you flood the arena with them. More projectiles. Avoid those. Yeah, these little pods here that have a timer once they get created. If you don't take them out in time, then they create more enemies. Okay, you're down. Is that the last of the heads? Does look like it. No, I was just barely in that. Okay. Apply the extra damage curse with that spin there. That'll be fine, right? Doom will do it. Ultimately, yeah. Big damage. I think our setup right now is seemingly better for bosses than it is against large groups of enemies. Because we can stack up... Well, I mean, you can't stack up numerous Dooms, at least not at the moment with our current setup. But I think at the moment we might be kind of overkilling with the Doom against most standard enemies, because we're dealing a lot of damage with that. Whereas only against bosses do we really see it deal all the damage that it can deal. Okay, as for what we find here, we notably did not actually take any Athena boons. So that does mean that our current keepsake, if we want to make a point of picking up an Athena boon, we still would want to hold on to this, because it has not done the trick just yet. I mean, we passed up on it a couple of occasions, but let's go with another fateful twist. We lucked out here, got a Centaur Soul last time, and that was quite good. This time we get Nail of Talos. Let me double check as to what that does. Makes it so that we deal plus 50% damage to armor, which is good against strong enemies, so it's not a terrible thing. I would argue probably not quite as good, at least long-term, as the Centaur Soul. But I think we do keep the Owl Pendant for now, and then, again, I don't really think we can sell any of our boons here. This would sell for a ton, but still, we are relying almost exclusively on it at the moment.
more floor.
Kind of one more floor, but not exactly. The other thing is we actually have not completed a spear run yet, so that is part of the reason why I made a point of doing that here, in addition to wanting to test out the new Hades aspect. What do we have here? We have palm or obols. How are we looking? We're at 214 obols. Would be a free palm. I mean, we did basically... Oh no, we had the question of palm versus shop previously, and we went palm there. I think we'd go with the obols, though. We'll still have extra enemies in this room here. This will be the last room in which that will be the case. And I think Elysium is not really somewhere where you want that to be a thing. So I will be very much looking forward to having the opportunity to get rid of that chaos downside. Have the boon fall, and it'll be more backstab damage. We should try to take advantage of here. There we go. Who's next? Are there any traps in here? Usually there are traps in these rooms of Elysium, but not seen any this time around. Okay, if you could just leave us alone, let me take this guy out first. That'd be ideal. Yeah, they're trying to outspear us when we're using the spear. That is strictly forbidden. How dare you even suggest such a thing? I demand that I speak to your manager. And it's also the projectiles over there. Let's make sure we take you out before you respawn. So in some ways, I'd like to get rid of you before you continue to pester us. Oh, except I forgot that one. Apparently. We'll take care of you, though. You should take care of you. Now, you might be the last one. I think you will be. Yes. Okay.
My Chaos Boon evolved a new
So
effect.
now the Chaos Boon has evolved, and that means we should have double damage from behind. Yeah, 105 from this one, and then 156. So collectively, we're talking almost 300% extra damage from behind. And what? We did not guarantee this chaos to appear here. That's just pure happenstance. And is there anything else in here? I mean, we would be skipping out on, what was it, either max life or obols. I think that's okay. Again, the downside of the Chaos Boons in Elysium, I find they tend to be much more significant here because enemies are much more difficult. So we'll have to be mindful of whatever that downside is. But if it's something like invisible rewards, then that's not too bad. We'll have to see what we have. So we can have more foes, which again, at this stage, is not something I'm too thrilled about, and unfortunately just plus 35 max life, or 34 rather. It's not too much. We saw better ones before. This one, our max life goes down, but afterward we get cast damage. We don't have any cast boons right now, so although this could become significant, right now it's not great. We could have it so that we take damage when we cast, but afterward, any obols we find are 35% better. Not loving these, to be honest. I think we lucked out a lot with the early ones. This time around, we drew the short end of the stick. I think under most circumstances, this would be the best one. It's just that at the moment, we have no other ways of scaling cast damage, so it's not super effective. I mean, eventually, pretty safe bet that we certainly could pick up a cast boon, yes, but short term, this doesn't do too much for us, and I guess in the short term, of course, we'll be experiencing the negative side effect of this, the minus max life, but not the additional cast damage until we complete 3 encounters. So maybe that gives us just enough time to pick up a cast boon in the meantime. But, yeah, I feel like in some ways, because I'm not thrilled about any of the plus sides on these boons, it's almost a matter of just picking the one that feels like it has the least effective negative component to it, in which case I feel like it might be added affluence, because we are using casts a bit for range, but it's mostly the attack damage that we're scaling right now, so I think we might just go for this, and ideally you would pick this up early. We saw some of these earlier that were giving us additional gems and darkness, and we passed on those. That would have been the time to take something like that, though. At this stage in the game, it's a little bit late for this. Like I said, I'm mostly picking this because I don't love the other ones.
Primordial chaos.
And, ooh, going to Patroclus next. Hold on. That's interesting. Does, of course, mean that there will be no enemies here, and therefore we will not get any closer to evolving that Chaos Boon, but I think we'll be okay, because, well, we can get some good stuff from this guy.
Something the matter there, stranger? Or have you come to torment me some more with idle chat?
You know Achilles, don't you, sir? You're Patroclus. Achilles serves us at my home. He trained me. He sends you his regards and love. He says to tell you he is thinking of you always.
Oh? What do you say to that?
Name. So then you've seen him, have you? In your father's house? And want me to believe he said all that? You'll forgive me if I am a little skeptical. In life, I left Achilles, and in death, he left me. We're even. And we've nothing left to say to one another now.
Ouch. That is cold.
But that can't possibly be true. There must be some misunderstanding here. You haven't spoken since you died?
We haven't, no.
Okay,
And
well,
I don't think we shall.
but there's a chance. You guys can make up, I'm sure.
For me, I guess. Tell him I'm doing perfectly all right, won't you?
I'm sure we can make that happen. Okay, so we could do any of a number of things. Restore all our death defiances. We have not used any yet, but this is the bailout whenever you find that your run is in train wreck territory. Fortunately, we're not there. So we could get additional life restoration. We are not quite on max life now, so this would be a little bit preemptive if we were anticipating that we'll take a lot of damage going forward. And what with the Chaos boon that we just picked up, it's making it so that we take damage when we cast. If we had taken the one that means that we have additional enemies, then maybe that would have been a way to counter that effect a little bit. But I think the answer here is probably to go with the Jerky for the very high damage boost. And so, lasts for 10 encounters. The real question is, will this last until the fight in the end of Elysium here, the boss fight between Will, Theseus, and Asterius? Because if so, then that's fantastic. If not, not gonna be super helpful against just random enemies in here. I mean, they are somewhat powerful, yes, but
Then very well.
let's see what we have here. We could have our guaranteed Athena encounter. Finally, it is a mini-boss, notably. Or we could go to a shop. We have 345 obols, so if we're willing to wait on Athena, we might be able to pick a couple of good things up here, potentially, because we have just enough obols that we can't quite do hammer plus boon, but could do a combination of several other things, so maybe we give this a shot. Athena, eventually we'll find our way over to you, don't worry. Now, if there are any gold urns, that would be great, because there is the chance that we could find a nice combo here. Now, okay, so not great on this occasion. Ooh. For a second there, I was going to say, previously we saw there was an item here that we stole from Charon, and that was how we got the Charon fight. Was half expecting to find something there, but not this time. Poseidon. I'm not sure about him, as to whether there's anything that would work well with the spear. Because, yeah, I think he's not one of those you need to attack quickly type of gods with his boons. He might be more in the hit slow but hit hard territory, so maybe this is decent. Let's pick it up.
I can use this.
We could get a special. We could get attack and special are stronger for the first 10 seconds of an encounter. So this is not great against bosses, because, of course, boss encounters are typically going to last more than 10 seconds. But could this be enough of a difference maker against normal enemies that we can clear them out almost immediately? Especially if we combine that with hitting them from behind, then we have an exorbitant amount of damage. Maybe, but I'm not. It's pretty niche, or at least the time when it's helping us is perhaps not the time when we need it most. We did see that our setup right now is strong against bosses, maybe stronger against bosses than it is against normal enemies. So maybe this is a way to balance out that a bit. Otherwise, this is the simple, straightforward answer. Just get a random assortment of gems, darkness, obols, and life restoration right now. And we aren't at quite full life at the moment, so maybe there's something to be said for that, but I wouldn't feel great about going into a shop and just picking this up. That feels like, is it worth the 150 obols that we spent to get it? Maybe not, but you could make the case that none of these things are per se, so let's try the Hydraulic Might. Does mean we're going to want to be quick as soon as we go into a room, but that's not a bad thing. Then we can upgrade something here, and I think we should have the choice. Let's give it a shot. So we can, again, upgrade Curse of Agony. At this point, it is just 10 damage on the Doom. So I think at this point, we have to draw the line somewhere and say that, yes, we may be using our attack most often, but still, just a 10 damage upgrade is not a lot. So I'm thinking Curse of Vengeance might be best here Otherwise, Hydraulic Might, as we were saying, in some circumstances might help a bit, but I think we're fine with just the 50 damage boost, and we'll go with the Curse of Vengeance here. And so, yes, we did spend a fair bit of obols there, but not totally convinced that we found something to make us much better here. Could go for Athena now. Again, it is still a mini-boss. Oh, we do notably have the ability to swap over a room if we feel like we don't like what we see here. Now, of course, we're guaranteeing Athena, so she is going to continue to show up. Let's give it a shot. Can't keep on saying no to her, and it is Asterius. So we'll see just how effective it is to have the extra damage at the beginning of the counter against a mini-boss.
Short one. It's a low blow, sir.
Pun intended.
Big honorable type.
You mock my sense of honor. Common tactic. Now prepare.
Okay, obviously, Asterius is a full boss when he's combined with Theseus, but on this occasion, just the very beginning. Oh, I forgot. We cannot, or we should not, use cast. We'll take damage from that. So, for the chaos effect. Wait, what's that? No, don't use those attacks there. And I'm assuming that you're probably, yeah, out of the bonus territory, bonus damage territory. Oh, we got hit by that. That was not great. We can hit you from behind. That would be ideal, of course. I think is certainly not impossible against the Minotaur. He says I think not, though. As long as we just get you, do a combo, and then we sneak up behind you. Oh, you were pretty quick to turn around that time. There we go. Maybe make a point of not necessarily charging up the spins, but instead making a point of going with the backstab. It does seem like that might be better damage. Except on that occasion. Kind of get the best of both worlds. Doom should... Oh, I was going to say take care of you. Oh, no, got hit that many times. Ooh, that was really sloppy at the end there. Success? Yes, but at what cost? Took a surprising amount of damage at the very end there, but let's see what we get from Athena here.
You've met the Master of the Seas, Poseidon, haven't you? Our uncle's affable but quick to anger. Be on your guard with him is my advice.
Okay. Now what do you have for us? Could pick up a cast, has some deflect, but we could also make it so that we're impervious and deflect all attacks, and I'll be honest, it's been a while since I last had Athena's call, but I'm thinking about how, with our spin move, it does require that we're relatively close to opponents and standing still as we charge it up, so we are rather vulnerable. I'm wondering if maybe we make a point of picking this up, and that allows us to stand right in the thick of things and charge up those spin moves and make sure that we're right next to people and sneak around to use backstab if we need to. That might be a reasonable combination there, even if it's not directly dealing damage. The deflect as well means that, of course, enemies that are attacking us at the time will damage themselves in the process. So, otherwise it is the cast, but of course, in the immediate term, we can't put that to much use here. For Holy Shield, more deflect damage. We do have the deflect doom damage from Ares over here that we just upgraded. And it would be less damage than that, but again, it also gives the deflect ability as well. I'm thinking we go with the 8, though. We don't have one of those yet, and we definitely will want to make a point of picking one of those up by the time we get into at least the Theseus Minotaur fight. And Hermes, not yet seen. And notably, want to be quick here. Have the extra damage. It was enough to take out the first wave, so that is good. The Doom is nice, because we can poke these guys and then run away as they explode. Archers, a little bit different, though. We are very clearly in their sights. I can get rid of you. Thank you. As for you, same deal. That's it. Not bad, no damage there. Hermes, we could definitely use some stuff from you. What do you have for us?
You'd think that once you break free to the surface, we could see you from Olympus a bit more than usual, but no, it's like you're shrouded in eternal night up here. Something like that. Hard, right?
Indeed. Okay, so we could have our attack go faster. That is something that sounds very good, given how our attack is slow at the moment, and we want to be able to charge up that spin move as quickly as possible. We did get the hammer upgrade early that allowed us to do that a little bit faster, but this would be the next best way to make that happen. Otherwise, enemies drop bloodstones faster. If we were focusing more on the cast, then this could work. Or dash and recover some life. I think this is more or less exactly what we wanted. We do have a well here. Ooh. Flame Wheels release. Prevent flame wheel foes from appearing in encounters. What? I've never seen this before. That is kind of hilarious. Is it an admission that nobody likes the flame wheels? And therefore, if you really want to get rid of them, you can make it happen here. I don't necessarily think we need to make that happen. We could go with the Iolamia. That'd be a way of getting a little bit of life back, and I think at this stage, that might be worthwhile. Because we are relatively low life at the moment. But we can go without any flame wheels. Or we can go with them. Don't need to pay 75 obols just to get rid of them. That, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. And hammer upgrade? Definitely. Let's go for that. And right on cue, here are the flame wheels. Doom can take them out, though. So that's part of the reason why I say that, is because, well, as long as we have that Doom effect there, we have a pretty good counter for them. Not terribly concerned. Now, was it relying on the extra damage we have at the beginning of the encounter? It doesn't seem like it. Seems like even once that's expired, we're still getting rid of them immediately. Where did he go? That's perhaps you. You're here. Life back. That's nice. That's from the Iolamia that we picked up. Ooh, I just stood there and took that.
It's regenerating.
Where? Please tell me.
Dust.
As for you, please go down. And please go down again. There we go. I think we're on precisely the amount of life that we walked in here with. Okay, ooh, couple of new things on the hammer. Let's take a close look. Charging your spin attack makes you sturdy and pulse 30 damage. Okay, so again, spin synergy is very nice. Your special hits up to 7 foes, dealing plus 30 base damage for each that we hit. Okay. Otherwise, your attack has more range and deals more damage to distant foes. Also useful, but I think this is both a scroll that we have not yet picked up and is synergistic with the spin.
There we go.
So sturdy means that we're more defensive. Let's double check exactly what that does. Sturdy means that we take 30% less damage and our actions cannot be interrupted by taking damage. So should make it a lot easier for us to do the spin moves, make us more defensive as they're happening. So that is, I think, a nice synergy in that sense. We could go max life or another Hermes here. Both of those do sound good. Anything else in this area? Don't think so. 175 life is not a ton at this stage, and we're still fairly low on that as well. So at the same time, picking up more speed from Hermes, we are fairly slow, but I mean, with all the, or at least we were, now that we picked up all those speed upgrades between the hammer and the previous Hermes boon, maybe we're doing okay on that front. I mean, would like to make a point of picking him up. He is so good, though. I think it is harder to get Hermes than it is to get max life upgrades, so we'll go with Hermes here. Even if it does hurt me a little bit. Here we find, yes, lots of life from the Iolamia. That is helping us out for sure. Please stop targeting us. Who's next? And Shield Dude's not a huge fan of you, but of course, Backstab does mean we'll deal a lot of damage. At least in theory. So we get rid of ya in full. Doom should do it. 2. So we get rid of your eyeballs. Who is next? You. Hiding over here. How dare you? Did you actually hit us? Might have.
My boon from chaos.
The boon has evolved, and remind me which one that one was? Was that the one that we were saying we're not a huge fan of? The one that gives us extra obols? Yeah, I mean, at this stage, it's not going to do much for us, but like we were saying before, wouldn't have gotten much out of anything that we were seeing from that previous chaos options. So,
In the name of Hades.
what do we get from Hermes here? We can dash one more time in a row. That would be nice. Or when we hit, we have a chance to dodge. Or when we are hit, we have a 10% chance to dodge. 10%, I mean, it's basically just take 10% less damage. It is good, but I feel like that number is just a little low. And I think that by dashing in additional time, we might be able to avoid more than 10% damage from that, because that is, of course, one of our strongest forms of defense. Just dashing out of the way. Does make it easier to also do some dash strikes. So, okay, it looks like we don't have any option but to go to the shop now, and with 200 obols, means we could purchase a hammer. And notably, is this the last fight before? Yes. Final boss here, so we did get that Chaos Boon to evolve just in time. Okay, so what can we do here? We can restore some life, because we are not on full life. with this here, because remember, we do get a little bit of life back from darkness, so that doesn't sound bad. We were talking earlier about perhaps wanting to get Artemis as well, and so I'm thinking we probably go for those two here.
Should help keep me going.
So it's not a ton of life, unfortunately. We will very likely need to use a Death Defiance in this upcoming fight, we'll have to see. As for Artemis, what do we have here? We have cast damage, we can have Dash Strike deals more damage. Well, we do have at least one Dash Strike boon from Chaos, so that might not be a bad idea. Little bit of crit chance, but with only 3% chance, then, oh man, I mean, in terms of the average amount of damage that is increasing us by, that's not a lot. I think we do want to go with Hunter Dash here. Normally I'm not a huge fan of this dash, but I think given the other dash boon that we have from Chaos, should mean this will be pretty strong. We did confirm, pretty sure, that this technically doesn't count. You're doing the spin and dash. So, gonna need to mix in some of the actual, technically official dash strikes. But either way, let's just double check. Kieran, you have anything else to say to us? Doesn't look like it. Let's head on out. We cannot afford that palm there. And Theseus Asterius, you're going down.
Few others in Elysium are so unwise to take up arms against Asterius and myself.
Is that so? Remember, we want to make a point of trying to hit them from behind whenever we can. And against Theseus, in particular, I think that should be pretty simple and straightforward. We do also have the extra damage at the beginning of the encounter. We want to take advantage of that as much as we can. And even though we were seemingly targeting Theseus at the beginning there, Asterius is actually lower, or very close. Did hit us with his charge, but there we go. Get some backstabs in there, hopefully. Theseus blocked that, but now we'll sneak in some backstabs. And we have them both at roughly half HP here. We probably do want to focus on taking one out before the other. Okay, so now Asterius is on half HP and has reached his second phase, so to speak. Let's focus on him. Oof. Almost overcommitted there. Okay, now that was probably not the right time to try to attack Theseus. He's close to half HP as well. Want to get Asterius down first. Okay, and I am just walking straight into them. And we are about to have to use this, so let's do it. Because we are pretty low on the HPs here. Okay, out of it though. So we may need to use Death Defiance here, like I was anticipating. I think we took some silly damage. But yep, there it is. Took some silly damage, but our damage was high enough that I was thinking maybe it was possible. Asterius down, so this should be more straightforward from here on out. But Death Defiance down is never a good thing, of course. Excuse me, could you, like, turn around? I thought you were gonna, you know, do the thing where you turn around a bit. Like that? There we go. Now you're on your second base. So we did time that well, at least. Please don't stand there. Okay, are you done yet? No, you definitely are not. In fact, I walked straight into that. Still taking some unneeded damage, I'm afraid. Yeah, that's not great timing on my part. But the Doom damage is high enough that it's good. We use our call. We can stand in there a little bit. And take him out like that. So, yeah, a little bit sloppy. Especially at the beginning there with taking some unneeded Asterius damage. That is technically our first Spear Theseus Minotaur kill. Apparently, because we just got some ambrosia there. Thanks, Shane. Anything else in here? In low life as well, so, I mean, I'd like to believe we weren't at risk of losing a second Death Defiance, but you never know. And the other thing is we could... The only way we could get back a Death Defiance now would be... Actually, there are two ways. We can get one from Athena, so good thing that we have precedent with her. She can continue to show up. The other thing would be from Well. Thing is, the Well item that gives us back a Death Defiance costs 200 opals, and we are not exactly even close to picking that up. Life Essence, one could argue, would be worth picking up here, because we want to make a point of not having to use another Death Defiance, so I think we go that route. In terms of swapping out a keepsake here, we have now finally actually used the Owl Pendant, so we don't really need this anymore unless we wanted to make a point of leveling it up. I think that after having used Death Defiance there, we probably do want to go into a more specific boss setup, so either something like the Broken Spear Point or the Evergreen Acorn. One could argue that with the Athena Call, maybe it's not as necessary. It probably is not as necessary as it would normally be, or at least not as helpful as it would normally be. But I think that probably still we could use all the help we can get at this stage. But with our limited number of boons, I mean, we still don't have a special boon, don't have a cast boon. Just have one really heavily upgraded attack is the big thing. And other chaos boons that are complementing that.
So close.
But we are now into the Temple of Styx, so getting closer. That's for sure. Not out of the question by any means. Just will require that we play well from here on out.
Cerberus up there.
Is there any golden urns? That would also certainly help. We are sitting on precisely one obol at the moment. Really? Seemingly there are so many golden urns in here in past, but not this time. Not this time, I'm afraid, so okay. And I don't think we've encountered a single fishing spot on this run. If we did, then I missed it. Okay, so in terms of rooms here, we have Athena, which, like I was saying, she can give us another Death Defiance, so I think that is definitely a room we're going to want to try to target. Artemis, Obols, potential mini-bosses behind the life, and palm rooms. Still only have 175 life, which at this stage is a bit low in terms of what we can find from the super shop here. Another max life upgrade, that should be within the realm of possibility. Biggest one would be, well, of course, the diamond, but that's probably not going to be something we're focusing on here. So that means would be Hermes for 500. Not sure we're going to be able to afford that. We did, of course, pick up the Chaos Boon that makes it so that we get additional obols. Is it going to be enough? We do also have the ability to alter one of these if we don't like it. So I think we definitely do want Athena. That much is for certain. I don't like the satyrs. I never liked the satyrs. Please go away. Okay, I think it is. Oh no, it is not down. It's very much not down. Doom, get rid of it. There we go. Here's a golden urn. Use all those that we can get. Okay, just you. Let's just chill back here for a second. And as you're about to use another one, we'll hide once more. And we'll hit you with another Doom. And that should do it. Small room. Not much else going on there. Here, lots of you guys who create the explosives of sorts. Gone, and nothing else. So onward we go. Okay, just a big rat. Remember, we get lots of damage when we backstab and when we dash strike, so seeing an opportunity to do both those things here. Okay. Should be getting close to the end of this room. Yes, we did. This is a tough one at that. Remember, we have the extra damage at the beginning of the encounter, so let's make a point of trying to hit people as much as we can here. Who's next? Lots of you guys. Try to get rid of the ranged people as much as we can. Easiest for their damage to stack up. Not quite enough there. That should do it, though. Who's next? Bunch of rat. Oh, you immediately hit us there. Okay, let's knock. Oh, walk into some poison. Where is the yield? There we go. Probably could use some of this. Get you out? Okay. Did take a fair bit of damage, but I think this is one of the more difficult layouts. I mean, any of the rooms with the spinny blades like that are always tough. So what do you have for us, Athena, is the real question. We can have a lot of special damage, we can have a cast upgrade, or we can have reduced damage from traps. Not sure we love any of these things, to be honest with you. And special has the highest rarity, yes, we've been using our cast a little bit more aggressively. So I kind of do prefer the cast. At one point in time, we were thinking about taking a cast upgrade, and I think we opted not to do that. So, we do have Hydraulic Might does affect both attack and special, but I think for the most part, we're going to be focusing on just the attack. So, My personal preference is typically leaning toward cast, not special. So I'm kind of thinking we do still go this route. Even if it's not necessarily the best from a pure damage standpoint, just from my play style, I feel like it's a little bit better. Pick up the golden urn and then get on out here. And we're on 147 obols, which means we could take the max life, which I feel like might not be a bad idea at this stage. Well, tell you what, I think we do want to hold on to our obols for now, because we want to make sure that we get to the 200 obol threshold as soon as possible, in case we do find ourselves making it to one of those wells in which we can buy a Kiss of Styx. That is the item that allows us to get back that Death Defiance that we lost. We, of course, did not get one from Athena there, so that was unfortunate. That was the big thing we were looking for. So I think we go for the obols now, for that reason. That way we are, as soon as possible, able to pick up... Ooh, we got poisoned very briefly. I think we might not actually take any damage from it, but yeah, we want to make sure we get to 200 obols as soon as possible. In fact, we were there already, so if we do run into one of those wells that sells a Kiss of Styx, that we can pick it up. Thought you were gonna hit us with that one. Not gonna lie. Okay, nothing here. But at the very least, also gives us the option to buy more things at the shop. Ooh, more of them. That'll do it, though. Anything else in here? No gold urns that I can see. Okay, Satyr, please go down. Like, right now. There we go. You are golden urn. Thank you very much. Up to 300 obols now. That's good. And here is the final room. So, this is an interesting question, then. This was pretty quick that we got this. That brings us up to just shy of 500 obols now. Remember, the Hermes boon costs 500 at the big shop, so we wouldn't quite be able to afford it. Question here is, do we want to go straight into the fight? The final boss fight. Because we are not quite on max HP, but we're quite close to that. So this could be as good as it gets from a life standpoint. But we would, of course, continue to get more obols if we went down additional routes. And if we were to, say, go for the Artemis boon, of course we would get another Artemis boon. We went down here, max life, palms. Those do have mini-bosses, and we know that those will truly have mini-bosses, and not just a free pass with the Satyr Sack, which means if we run into some of those guys, they can be very difficult. So that's the kind of enemy that you don't really want to be fighting just before you go at the final boss. So for that reason, I feel like, if anything, we'd probably want to go for either nothing at all and go straight into the final boss, or do just Artemis here. Let's just remind ourselves what our options are at the shop here, so we're just shy of being able to afford this one. So if we felt like we really wanted to get Hermes, then it might be worth going down an additional room just to make sure that we can pick up those obols. Otherwise, if we stick with what we have now, we could get both this heart here and then a super palm. I think we've done a lot of palm upgrades at this stage, and therefore, for the most part, our big boons, like our attack, we've seen some pretty big diminishing returns to the point where the upgrades at this point deal almost no additional damage with the Doom. So, not sure that's terribly valuable to us. I think, let's pick up the heart.
Should come in useful.
And I'm thinking we do go for Artemis here, and it might backfire. Of course, we don't want to take much damage here because we won't have that free heal at the end where we pick up the Satyr Sack. So that's the big thing. Want to make sure we still have a lot of health going into that fight, but picking up more obols, that's the big thing. And there's, I think, actually 2 of those golden urns, so that is useful. Hoping that the Artemis boon itself is powerful, and that'll be a difference maker. That goes without saying, of course. Anything that we might be able to find from a well, whether it be... Ooh, more golden urns? Well, whether that be the Kiss of Styx is the home run, yes, but other things could be useful too. Lots of golden urns here. That is fantastic. So, wasn't necessarily thinking we'd be able to afford Hermes after purchasing the heart as well, but with all these golden urns, we're practically there already. I'd say at this point, it's almost guaranteed. Guys, please go down. I'll just, put the patient route. And, okay, nothing else here. This might be the last room. down this route, so we hope it's not bad. Of course, we know it will have enemies in it. And I don't like the fact that it has satyrs. That is a bad sign. Where is the cure? Where is the cure, please? There, I absolutely pressed the button next to it. Thank you very much. Okay, so these mini-boss satyrs, notably, can shoot multiple times. Like that. So they missed with the first one, but they did hit with a follow-up one. So that way they are much tougher than the other satyrs. And for that reason, I personally despise them. For my money, probably my least favorite enemies in the game. You know, other people don't like the flame wheels. For me, it's the satyrs. Especially these guys. I walked straight into that. That's my fault. Could deflect them straight back at their faces. That would also be helpful to cast. And, I would prefer to take out the satyrs first. That's actually not me stepping on traps there. Well, I dashed into that one. So yeah, this is not what we were looking for. This is precisely the situation that I was thinking we would not want to have happen. We run into a room full of satyrs, take a lot of damage, and now that means that we aren't going to have an easy source of healing from here on out. So we're probably not going to be walking into the final fight with nearly as much HP as we would have if we'd gone straight into it. Still a chance that it could pay off, because we did find that we broke the 500 oval mark. There is a well here. There is, of course, the Artemis boon, so we'll see what we get out of this stuff.
That's the eternal spear Varatha, isn't it? Your father used to use that, didn't he? A bit ornate for hunting, but a spear's a spear, is what I like to say.
Okay. What do you have for us? Exit wounds. Your foes take damage when your bloodstones stuck in them are dislodged. I'm not sure we're going to be able to take advantage of that enough for it to be worthwhile. I know it is a scroll, yes. We could see another opportunity to pick up a little bit of critical chance, but again, with just 2% crit chance. I mean, when it does happen, it's going to be big, yes, but that's just so infrequent. And I think that's difficult. I think at this point in time, we do go with exit wounds or the special, but not a huge fan of any of these, so for that reason, why don't we take the one that's a scroll at least? Take that. Now let's check this. There it is. Kiss of Sticks. Okay, so this is exactly what we wanted. So for that reason, yes, probably still worthwhile. We went down this route. Does mean we won't be able to afford Hermes. That's okay. We use Tinge of Erebus to get a little bit of darkness, and therefore a little bit of life back. Still not quite as much as we would have had on this current life if we had not gone down this route, but we did get a Death Defiance back. So for that reason, I think that's actually an interesting question as to whether we would have had more life if we went straight in, or if we go in right now, because, of course, when we use the Death Defiance, we don't come back with full HP. It's actually quite close, come to think of it. But we did still get the Artemis boon, yes, and a little bit more ovals. We should be able to buy, well, can we afford anything else at all? This tiny little palm here. So I suppose there's that. And we will definitely be going in after this, I think. We can improve the revenge damage or the hydraulic might. I think going into a fight like the Hades fight here, probably not looking to go hydraulic might, because for 10 seconds against him, that's just not enough to make much of a difference. And, well, could find ourselves taking a fair bit of damage here. So let's just take a quick look at what the alternatives are here in terms of these rooms. Could get max HP, but again, both of these are going to be mini-bosses. Could go Palm. Let's alter this just to see what we get. Turns into Poseidon. Think maybe if we had seen, I don't know what would have been the difference maker there. I don't think Poseidon is a big enough deal for us to want to go down that route, but just wanted to see what our options would have been. So, let's double check. Definitely no fishing spot here. It is odd. I don't think we found a single fishing spot this run. So I feel like I must have just glossed over one, but yes, I think we definitely do go in now. Let's give this a shot. We have a lot of damage with our attacks, especially when we hit from behind and when we use our dash strike, so that's going to be the name of the game. We do have a way of taking less damage when we do that, with our sturdy when we're charging it up. And with our call as well, so the hope is that that's enough to pull this off, but it's going to be a little tricky. Would be our first successful spear run, so we'll see if we can make it happen.
You're never late, Father.
Suppose not.
You
were never supposed to live. Took all of Nyx's strength to circumvent what should have been a certainty. Now you cannot stay dead. Such is the wry humor of the fates.
Whoa, okay, so we learned from our mother that apparently we were, like, stillborn? And so we were basically dead at the beginning of when, well, immediately upon birth. And that is odd, given how we are a god, but somehow that happened. And yet, Nyx, according to Hades here, did something to bring us back to life? And now we cannot stay dead. I mean, well, that part is certainly true.
Nyx
That's because we're gone.
So, according to the fates, I was never meant to be born, since neither you nor Mother are of the underworld, something like that? Or was it just another lie you told to Mother and whoever else?
Oh, okay. You know, fair point, Zagreus. We might not be able to take everything that Hades says at face value.
You think everything a lie?
Yeah, from you, potentially.
The feet was appointed to me on certain conditions. Not that I had much of a choice. Among them, a one-time surface dweller such as I would never have an heir.
Really? Is that so?
You really believe that? Then why attempt to have a child anyway?
True.
You don't know anything. Why anyone would choose to have a child is a mystery to me. The fates said I would never have an heir. Perhaps this was all they meant.
Well, we'll just see about that. Throw the cast at you early. Oh, except, well, you proceeded to avoid all of them. Not sure we're gonna get that bloodstone back anytime soon. Hey, by the way, it's a nice spear you got there, Dad. Mind if I borrow it for a bit? I saw that. And that. We have enough damage on a fully charged spin to take out those heads. I'd like to get this back, thank you. Oh, deflected it back at you. Take that. Oop. Yeah, those are probably going to explode over there. Never mind. We do have the additional dash, which is going to be big. That was one of the things I was thinking of when we did pick that up from Hermes. Ooh, okay, did get hit by that. Was that it is really good for avoiding the spin moves from Dad. Like that. Normally, I find that 2 dashes just isn't quite enough. Oh, we were right next to him when he threw that. Hello? There you are. Oh, once again, followed up with a good combo there. Ooh, that was not good damage that we took that time.
You even realize what you're doing, boy?
Okay, so we do have close to a fully charged meter right now. Okay, get rid of you. That would be great. Or you, for that matter. Okay. You are hitting us. Less than ideal. Okay, we do have a full meter right now. So we could do something like this. And make a point of hitting you from behind, I think is probably the best. Some combination of spin moves hitting you from behind. Now, if you would not disappear on us when we're in the middle of a call, that would be great. Yeah, that, I mean, it worked. Kinda, sorta. That was just a poorly timed throw. Probably still gonna blow up. That one will. Yep. Okay, just barely avoided that. You are disappearing at the moment. You're over here right behind us. How much is clear? Okay, I think we want to do a little bit more relying on the Doom. Just, oh, what is this? Getting mad at us? Ooh, I don't like the friend that you just got. I think we want to just poke you with the Doom. Have that do much of our damage for us. Play a little more slowly, steadily. Ooh, except that's a lot of damage we're taking from all the projectiles that your friends are shooting at us. Do not like that. Ooh, like that. And that. Trying to avoid some of them, but next hit likely means we will have to use another Death Defiance. So this is not the best time to have to do that. I'd like to be able to say that for the last phase, but... Okay, dash through that. There's going to be another one exploding over here. Okay, do that, yes. Love if those would explode and damage you as well. Okay, you're disappearing again, close to the next phase. We're not quite there yet. Okay, let's get out of the way of that, please. Okay, could you go down right about now, please? Please, for this phase. You have the greater call, and it's good timing for that because, well, we're about to find you get pretty mad at us, I think. Oh, and I should not have been standing right next to that. Or that, for that matter. Could go this route right around now, perhaps. Especially when you're doing this, I think this is a good time to make that happen. It's alright to activate these things at the moment, I do believe. Okay. Get rid of that for the time being. Okay. You doing the spin move? I thought you were. Really thought we could get rid of those things. Oh, that was terrible positioning there. Thought that we could get rid of the heads that he throws at us if we attack them in advance. Okay, do you want to get behind this? Right around now. Okay, get out of the... Ooh, that's not quite enough range. Okay, that's laser beams. That was green. That's what that was. That was me trying to sneak in a special. Bad idea on my part there. So yeah, we definitely need to play defensively here if we have any hope of pulling this one off. Again with the laser beams. Oh, what? That was not a laser beam. What?
How arrogant of
You totally did the laser beam animation. Then you said, no, 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 no. One moment will I dash in your face and do a spin move and take you out. You threw me for a loop there. That you certainly did. So I think that was possible.
I'll give him that.
We could have pulled that one off, I think. Definitely took some damage that we should not have taken there. And I think with another round of throwing casts at him and getting a few more dooms on him, we might have been able to take him out there. I think that definitely would have been possible. But not our best setup, I don't think. So we'll definitely be looking to find another way to successfully complete a run with the spear. As for whether we want to do that with the Hades aspect, that's an interesting question because that was, of course, the main thing we were doing that time. So, with the big spin moves, I mean, yeah, it was one of the things we were doing a fair bit. It turned out that, ultimately, we were going a little bit more for the backstab. Well, combination of that, spin move and the backstab. They didn't necessarily work great hand in hand. Ideally, we would have done the spin move, applied the, again, quote-unquote curse, and then follow up with the backstab to have huge damage with that and dash attacks. But I think that that was just a few too many things that we had to do correctly in a specific sequence that... in theory, sure, great, you can say, yeah, just do a spin move, then just dash behind him, and then use a dash attack. And yes, sure, but in actuality, just doesn't always work out that way. But with a little bit more of it, I think we could have pulled it off for sure. Notably, he's not back yet.
How's everything been going lately, boy? What's the good word?
The Underworld Prince's casual inquiry serves but to frustrate the Infernal Hound, as none of his three heads possess the gift and curse of speech.
Gift and curse? Suppose that's one way to look at it. We did, however, catch up with Patroclus, who had something to say about Achilles, and also Eurydice, who had something to say about Orpheus, so definitely did still get some interesting details on those fronts.
Did you find your mother once again?
I'm afraid not, but we did also see that Hades had some interesting things to say about our, well, our birth. And do we trust what he said at this stage? Do we feel like that was also a lie? Hard to tell when so many of the things that he said about us have proved to, well, either not be true or he seems to be withholding crucial bits of information.
No, I failed, sir. No thanks to Father. What am I going to do?
Just take it
We'll get
easy
him
now.
next time.
You got there once. There isn't any question in my mind that you can do it once again. Your father's acting as though nothing's changed besides. So don't lose hope. You're capable of this.
I hope you're right.
I hope so too. As for Dusa, let's give her a nectar.
Oh my. Your Highness, are you really sure you want me to have this?
Yeah, sure, Dusa. Why not?
I really am, Dusa. I hope you enjoy it.
As for our actual conversation with you,
I just wanted to apologize because I think maybe I didn't act very appropriately last time you spoke to me. But I just really, really like this job, and I promise I will always do my very best, so I just hope I'll have another chance.
oh, you're doing fine, Dusa. Don't worry about it.
Dusa, please, there's no need to apologize.
You've been doing a wonderful job, really.
What? You really mean it, Prince? Thank you. Thanks so much.
Aw, no problem, Dusa. Alright. Any Thanatos appearances? Looks like the answer to that is no. And no dad. House contractor, we could take a quick look here, but it looks like we may not have anything new on that front. We picked up maybe a little bit of gems, but for the most part, not much new for you. Orpheus, however, we definitely have new stuff to talk to you about.
Say, Orpheus, you wouldn't happen to know the nymph Eurydice, would you? Tall, woodsy type. I get the impression maybe you know each other.
Possibly. Possibly.
What? Why, yes. I know Eurydice. Or, I once knew her, I should say. Why ever would you ask me such a thing, my friend?
You know, she may have asked about you.
She's doing fine up there, all on her own. The two of you used to know each other then?
I'd say so.
We knew each other, Zagreus. We were husband and wife. She was my muse. To think that we are doomed to be apart during our afterlives. Oh well.
That's a bit of a strange response to that. Ah, well, who cares, right? Yeah, you'd think you want to do something about that, right? And maybe we can help you out.
Ah, well. Don't you have a message I could bring to her if we should meet again? Something like that?
Ah, well. Something tells me we should not tell her that. That would not go over too well.
To trouble her again, my friend. Speak not to her of me, all right? I have my memory of her. It is enough.
Right, I'm sorry.
You can't be serious.
But, yeah, that is a little alarming. Okay, so we don't have any fish to turn into the head chef, of course. As for any trades with you, would turn in darkness to get a nectar. I think, technically speaking, that is a good deal. And we do still have some things we'd like to use darkness on, yes, but sure.
I'll take that deal.
Oh. Because we are sitting on, what, 5 nectar right now? So if we were to say, spend a bunch of keys, we have 40 keys right now. We could gain nectar, and then use that to buy a diamond, and then diamonds we could certainly use. So we saw there were some things at the house contractor that we cannot currently afford. I just don't know if there's anything else we need to unlock with the keys, so I'd want to double check that first. As for Nyx, we learned more about you as well, or at least we think we did from Hades, so we have a fair bit to talk to you about as well.
Nyx, you saved my life. Gave me life when I was born. Father told me. I don't know what to say. Why didn't you tell me?
There are many things that I am not at liberty to speak of, child. Through my own binding choice. These circumstances are among them. Suffice it to say that your revival required the extent of my ability and considerable time.
Huh. But how?
I never should have been born. Is that what the Fates wanted? Did you defy your own daughters?
It's true, the Fates are obviously Nyx's daughters as well.
Silence.
Ooh.
My daughters thus.
Okay, Nyx says that will be all. Thank you very much. Please be on your way. Also, notably,
New piece of music.
We do have pieces of music here
Ah, yes.
that we can play. This being the main menu theme, and then this being what we normally hear at the beginning of Tartarus. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Let's check here just to see if there's anything else we want to purchase, say at the mirror or what?
Meg?
Why is Megan here?
Meg. Oh, I was not expecting company. Were you just casually snooping, or is there something I can help you with?
Meg? What's the deal? Never seen anyone else in here.
I was just leaving Zagreus. Happened to be in the area, no thanks to you, and thought I'd go retrieve the last of my possessions. I have to say, you've really let this place go to hell.
It's not that bad, Meg. Come on. Huh?
She left. Great. Wonderful. I guess we'll just go back to killing each other repeatedly then.
Yeah, so I think there have been hints that Zagreus and Meg did kind of sort of have a relationship in the past, and things have gotten a little bit rough since, well, you know, the whole we tried to escape thing started happening, and then it's kind of her job to make sure that that doesn't happen, kind of puts us at odds with one another. So, seems like it's boiling over a bit, or it has been boiling over a bit for a while now. But, curious to see, will we still find Meg if we, like, go back here? Is she gonna be in the lounge? We talk to her once more? Also this.
Appreciate your patience.
Sharp object was the cause of death. Achilles is the strongest there ever was. Probably someone who Achilles took out. Signs of Meg? Doesn't seem like it. He's not here, and I don't think we've ever seen her much further away than that, other than maybe talking to Hypnos or Hades on occasion. So, yeah. Strange indeed. Don't totally know what to make of that. But I guess we head on out here. Oh, actually, let's make a point of double-checking at the mirror, like we were saying before. Do we have anything we need to unlock here? Do we have anything that we can buy with darkness? We could get another Fated Authority, that being the ability to re-roll those rooms when we find that they don't have things that we particularly want. We did it once at the very end of that previous run, and it potentially could have been helpful, so getting the chance to do a little bit more of that might be a bit of a difference maker there.
Power of night.
We can be a little more aggressive with when and where we use it.
Might want to check your stash of weapons over there.
Okay. Yes.
I'll gain more darkness with this.
So, this has the Dark Thirst, yes.
You really are.
We did, however, complete a bow run recently, so I think at this point what we're either going to be looking for is probably to find another way to make the spear work, or I don't think we've yet successfully done a shield run yet. No, we have not. In fact, I think in terms of foes slain, this is pretty low here, so we might have done fewer shield runs than almost anything else. So, might there be a new aspect for us to unlock here that we'd like to have? We still have 9 Titan Blood remaining. Default, or I should say, aspect of Zagreus, aspect would give us attack and dash strike damage. Otherwise, aspect of Chaos means after we bull rush, our next special throws multiple shields. Or a special becomes a Blitz Disc. Special deals rapid damage returning on command. Your attack is not disabled. That sounds kind of nifty. Let's give that a shot, maybe. Sure. We'll go that route.
What did you just do?
Good question. Very good question indeed. Well, we do, I don't know... Normal attack should be unchanged. Full rush is still that. And then Q, that's the big difference, is the special. Man, it is pretty fancy looking. You're not wrong. And then press this for a dash attack. Attack while dashing. Skelly, you have anything else to say to us?
Strangest thing happened while you were out, boy, yo. One of your weapon holder things back there, it picked up this eerie glow. Could see it from the corner of my eye.
Calm down, Skelly. I'm sure whatever it is
yeah, we've heard this, I think.
Semi-sentient Titan-slaying weapon from the
We may continue to say this until we check out all the weapons, which I'm not necessarily sure we have done.
That's just it. Those weapons of yours, they have seen some real business, pal. You're giving them a real workout, so maybe they're starting to like you or something. Loosening up a bit, you know, like you and me.
I suppose.
That's an imaginative theory, mate.
Alright, so next time, I think we'll be looking to do either, like I was saying, the new aspect of Zeus, I believe this is, on the shield, or maybe a new, hopefully more successful, spear run next time. But I think we did still learn some very interesting things, at least from a plot standpoint, from that previous run. Like, Nyx apparently saved our lives.
Is not your plaything, boy. Cerberus defends our realm so that no one gets in alive, or gets out either way.
Yeah, unless you give him a Satyr Sack or something like that. But with that, that's going to wrap things up here. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you had fun. And like I said, next time we'll see if we can find a way to successfully take down Hades and make it back to see Mom.